Alrighty here. So looks like we have canister. Yeah, canister on the bottom, Jesse on the top. Canister in canister fashion, natural Tron. I don't know if this is a seven or if he mulliganed, but obviously, natural Tron. And Jesse, I don't see a blood moon, although there's only one copy in Jesse's deck, so not the most likely thing to happen in Jesse's hand.
Big fan of that mulligan from Jesse. I think if you don't have Blood Moon or Ragavan, you want like a Fast Fury or a Fast Grief. You just really want to apply pressure against the Tron deck. And that first hand, turn two Dothy is like not really what you're looking for, right? Like you want to scam, you want to pitch cast something. And I think that's what we got right here with the turn one Grief line, right? Or I'm
For
sorry, turn one
sure.
Fury line.
Yep, this is, I believe, Jesse's Mold to 5, and I'm going to be honest with you, this is probably as good as a 5 card hand can get against Tron, and specifically, I think it's probably more important to have Fury than Grief in your opening hand against Tron, just because it clocks in 3 hits, and the Tron deck, like, if you take Canister's hand, for example, right, if Jesse had Grief, you could Grief the 2 payoffs, but Canister still has natural Tron, and you can't Grief the Tron land, so you're giving Canister a lot more time, but the Fury does not give him that much time.
Some really good points there. When I first glanced at Canister's hand, I was like, "Oh, there's no green source. This looks bad." And then you're like, "Oh, a natural Tron." I was like, "Oh, right, yeah, that's the thing they can do every time, of course."
Yeah, and Canister playing 4 copies of Karn Liberated has 2 in the hand, so that's gonna, be a turn 3 play. Jesse going into the tank here. I guess we're thinking about what to pitch. I guess you'd probably just pitch Terminate. There's not a ton of targets in Canister's deck for that one. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and see Not Dead After All. This is the famous turn 1 scam. Is it scam or is it evoke, Caleb? What's your stance on that?
Oh, I'm team scam.
All
Like
right,
whatever
good.
the name is originally that people agree on is usually fine unless there's like a really good reason to switch, in my opinion, you know. But what's my opinion worth, right? What
Let's
about
see.
you? What do you think?
Oh, scam all the way. I have a scam emote, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, I took like
Extremely
a
pro scam then.
yeah, I took like a little screen cap of Calcano's face when he got Dothy Boardwalker Ulamog then top 8 of the Pro Tour, and that's what I used for the emote. So
Fantastic. Jesse ripping the second land like a champ.
yeah, interesting decision here whether we want to go for a Croaker or a Bowmaster. My instinct is probably Bowmaster because it does sort of increase the clock, and you want pressure in play if you're assuming Can's just going to cast like a um the fake out tap.
Very canister, right? And the troll line. Yeah, I agree. I agree with playing the Bowmaster. I don't think Cruxit does anything for a while. Like it doesn't even it's unlikely to even get in damage, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and we briefly touched on the lack of dismember in Canister's deck. What if dismember just costs 7 mana, Caleb?
Or just, three lands.
Yeah. So we'll
The
see. Yeah,
Bowmasters do
Bowmaster.
get to clear it, but what's gonna be the answer to the second one is the issue
Yeah.
here.
Yep. That's the second one's gonna come down and probably just gonna start going after Jesse's lands, I would guess. We could even see maybe Karn the Great Creator get something, but you probably just want to start going after lands at this point.
Yeah, I feel like Jesse mulled well, played well, and those decisions are just not gonna end up mattering here.
Yeah,
Sometimes
well,
that's how it
it's
goes.
right, especially against turn natural Tron turn 3 Karn Liberated. That's kind of a tough ask from the Rakdos mid range deck at heart. It's kind of a mid range deck, but it does. Jesse played a turn 1/4/4 double strike. How mid range can that be?
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it.
So looks like we're gonna go Karn the Great Creator for Worm Coil, I would assume.
Matches the mana for sure.
Yep. Is that a Worm Coil? I can't even tell.
Yeah, you said it was two of the same Karn, and I was like, "Oh, it's the Mark Teeden Karn." Right, right, right.
Who knows with canisters? Canister loves to play the like different versions of cards, so he could just have 4 different card liberated. So I don't even know like the alt arts and stuff. And Jesse's gonna go ahead and pack it up. Take a look at sideboards here. Jesse's gonna Definitely going to reach for that second copy of Blood Moon. Is there really anything else though? So we have explosives, no good. Chalice, no good. Needle's good. Needle can name, one of the Karns. And then I'm wondering if you want to go something go towards something like Shieldred just for an additional pressure, but it is a 4 drop, so it's probably a little bit too slow.
And then Canister, just straight pure cardboard, no sideboarding, right?
Yeah, there are some circumstances where you can justify bringing in some Karn targets that you might not have time for. Like I frequently, for example, I'm also playing a Karn deck, and I sometimes board in like Stonebrain against Living End because you don't have time to Karn for it, things of that nature. But in this particular matchup, given the presence of Grief and Thoughtseize, you probably just want to have as much utility for those Karn the Great Creators as possible.
The game one was
See.
so fast.
It really was, yeah. And like you said, Jesse kind of just basically everything she could have asked for, which is turn one Fury. That's kind of how you win this matchup, with the exception of turn three Blood Moon. You want to have one of those two starts, but yeah, that was kind of her ideal start. I think that game is definitely a lot different if Jesse's in the play. It's like Canister has two Tron lands, a map, a ring, pretty easy keep here. Jesse's going ahead to take a mulligan. I see a Fury, a red card, and a not dead after all, so probably going to keep that one.
Makes sense to me.
And we'll have to see if the play draw disparity or the play draw difference matters here, because I think that Fury it's going to deal 16 damage before the Karn Liberated comes down. So maybe if Jesse can find the other four points somewhere, with maybe like a bolt or a bowmaster, can get the job done.
And you've played a lot of modern. Do you like living in bolts versus Tron?
You probably leave in a couple. It's if it depends on how many cards you want to board in. Like comparing it to the Shieldreds and Jesse sideboards. It's like you have to weigh how often you're going to be able to cast Shieldred in a game where you're not already too far behind on board versus how much do I want that extra 3 points of damage. So yeah, you usually want to leave in a couple, but probably not all four. And I saw
I
Canister
think
actually
she
took a
only
mulligan.
I think she only has a couple.
Yeah. I'm assuming that first hand probably had two different Tron lands, but I couldn't tell because one was a full art, so I have no idea which one's which. Looks like Canister is settled on 6, which is one Tron land in a map. And Jesse's going to go ahead and say, here's my Hogak. Hogak, pretty good card, Caleb.
Oh yeah. At least this one takes 3 cards and isn't free.
That's true. That is true. It does dismantle your entire hand. So let's think about how this one's going to play out. So Canister's going to play a map. Jesse's going to crack in for 8. Canister likely has to draw the missing Tron piece because then you're going to take another 8, and then I guess your plan is Slam Ring, but that's a Blood Moon. That's a pretty good draw step. We might have a really, really fast match on our hands. Yeah, this is I think traditionally, like for example, going into the Pro Tour, I think the general consensus was that Scam was favored in this matchup because they were playing a whole bunch of Blood Moons. But if you look at kind of the evolution of Tron, which is kind of surprising, a deck as old that's basically been around since modern's inception has had so much change over even just like the past couple of months where they added the main deck talismans to make them better against Blood Moon, the main deck dismembers. And I think that the Handshake Tron deck actually, you could even argue, had a not maybe not good, but a good enough Tron matchup.
This is an exciting explorer. Tried to mise the extra land hit and whiffed. Oh no. I dig it
Yeah,
though. I dig the
yeah,
ambition.
I kind of like that because I think Canister realizes he's just way too far behind to like crack map, play land, Sylvan Scrying for the fourth trial. You're just going to be dead by the time you do
Exactly.
that.
But
So
if you
you
run a
just got to
runner
swing.
lands, then you get to play
Yep.
you get to chain one rings together and you like have a chance of winning the game.
It's also hilarious that Blood Moon shuts off the green mana. Not that it matters this game, but drew the end. We found green mana.
To game 3 we go.
Yep. This is it almost feels like this is a very two ships passing in the night kind of matchup, which, typically that's kind of how Tron versus almost anything goes, but we're definitely seeing that on display here, Caleb.
Which of these decks would you be more likely to register for a tournament?
It's like picking between the lesser of two evils. I guess if you forced me to register one, I would probably say Tron, but I like big mana. I like I got a Cabal Coffers, but I like that version of Tron more. It's like
Big mana is
soph-
satisfying.
sophisticated Tron is the way that I put it.
Yeah. Like some mono blue Tron.
Oh no, 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 no. No, we don't talk about that. Please no.
I thought about it. I think Remand is actually good. Everybody playing like 4-mana cards. Like everyone's
Yeah.
curves have changed in Modern.
My deck's got like 10 4-mana cards. I got
I
I got a
know.
lot of those. All right, we see a keep from Kanister. Now, no, those are not full art. I can tell that's two Urza's mines, and Jesse's hand is quite good. We got a grief, a black card, and a not dead after all. Question is, do you go? You definitely. Which card do you pitch? Probably pitch the. We're going for needle. Interesting.
Yeah. I think I dig it.
Yeah, I think the thought process is that if Kanister's hand has second Tron land and you grief, then you're not going to keep him off Tron anyways. So it kind of makes sense to name the map and just like wait a turn on the pressure. So I kind of I can get behind it for sure. I was going to ask you which land do you get here? It's a coin flip because obviously if you might draw the same one next turn, but what would you go for there in your spot? Do you get the power
I
play or the
think
tower?
the conventional wisdom is to tutor up Power Plant so that you tutor up Tower last, and then like you're tapping your mana, you're tapping your Urza's Mine, you're tapping your Power Plant to crack a map. Well, not a map this game, but to pay for your tutor effects to find the last Tron piece, and then the tower is going to tap for more the turn that you play it. Right?
Yeah.
Did that make sense? I feel like I
No, it does.
gave
It
a very
does.
garbled explanation of a very logical.
No, it does make sense. Yeah, you want the tower last. I was just thinking about flipping coins. I kind of weirdly hope Canister draws the power plant here, just so we can get a good laugh out of it. We see Jesse go ahead and Thoughtseize Karn the Great Creator. And I would imagine we're gonna see a grief here. We're definitely thinking about something. I wonder if Jesse's thinking about holding the grief and the not dead after all and hoping that Canister draws a spell next turn.
Might have
I
been
think
thinking
you're
about
gonna
which
fire
card
it
to
off.
pitch.
Maybe, yeah.
I think between Bowmasters and Cruxa is like a much closer decision this game than in game one because we have 3 lands instead of just two, and then there's a bunch of lands in Canister's hand, so it's going to get in some immediate damage. There's already some cards in her graveyard,
Right,
that sort
yeah,
of
for
thing.
sure. Yeah, definitely. The Croxa definitely could come up this game. So Canister we did find the Tron land. So we're just looking for a payoff. And I guess the question we will find out here is whether or not Jesse will be able to close out the game before Canister draws one of the 8 cards. I guess 6 left in the deck because 2 got Thoughtseized.
Oh, Stone's not bad here either.
Yeah, Ostone would definitely work. A Scrying, which I guess we already have the Blast Zone in hand. Ooh, I forgot about Giganta. There we go. We found a threat. Does Giganta race grief? Mm,
Yeah, not
probably not
super
with the
well.
probably not with the Bowmaster 2 creating 2 chump blockers. Okay. A Fable here for Jesse. That's not too bad. Play that.
Fetching a second basic swamp to play around her own potential blood moons, of course.
And look at this Blast Zone too. We got a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. So you gotta pick your poison on this Blast Zone. My guess is we're gonna tick it up to 4. kill the Grief because that's, I think, the most immediate pressure. But you could also argue that the Fable's pretty. That's a tough one for Canister here. My gut would be to go to 4, but I'm not sure.
I think so. The terrifying thing is you take it up to 4, you crack it, and then there's a not dead after all.
Yeah, that would be brutal.
But I agree. I think I would still take it up to 4 and try and clear that Grief. It goes up to 4 immediately, right? It starts with 1 counter, and then there's, like, exactly enough mana to get it to 4 here.
Yep. Yeah, 2. I think it's XX. You'd spend 2 for each counter. Looking
I
at. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I remember when Blast Zone was first printed, and everybody, like, thought that it could, like, maybe blow up a chalice. By everybody, I mean Twitch chat. Twitch chat constantly describing
Classic.
how it can, like, blow up zeros and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, while you're not blowing up your opponent's Mox Amber. That's not what the card does. Although, I will say, if there's a Blood Moon in play, then you play the Blast Zone, and then you blow up the Blood Moon. Now we're cooking.
Uh,
Now
the
we're
Dark
cooking.
Depths combo, but with a little bit less of a payoff.
Just a little bit less. So we can tutor up a Boseiju here. That is the other one of land that Canister has access to potentially go after this Fable. But we only have 1 green source, so we don't really have the time to do that. I'm wondering, do we have enough mana to... I guess we can go scrying for Boseiju and then put 3 counters on Blossom. I think that's what Canister's doing here. Because we got 2 floating. Yeah. It's like Canister agrees. So that's going to be able to take out the Grief next turn. Have to see what Jesse can find off of the Fable.
Nice. And we have Blood Moon covered.
Yep. Okay, there's that not dead after all. So yeah, that's going to be tough if Canister goes for popping the Blast Zone. We're just going to go ahead and pop that. I assume Jesse keeps this in hand because the Blast Zone is face up. Yeah, Voidwalker's pretty good too.
Woodwork is excellent, yeah.
It's a little bit more pressure. So we're going to go take 4 down to 7, and then if Canister pops the Blast Zone, we're going to
Paid more
trigger.
than 4, right?
Oh yeah, we're just shoving with everything. Yeah, you block the 2/2, take 6, go to 5, and then you just have. I guess it's no, it is lethal, yeah, because the 1 damage from the roll token. Well, lethal after the Blast Zone gets popped, I should say.
Can we besiege you, the Wicked, to not... Oh, no, but it'll just trigger if it dies from
I think
that
it
too.
triggers.
Right.
Yeah. Could do that though.
A legal play.
It is a legal play. Not recommended. Lock
Hitting
Bowmaster.
orcs.
I was wondering if maybe one of Canister's outs was just draw Oblivion Stone. I guess we're popping the Bowmaster in case we draw a cantrip. Because if, Canister does have the Chromatics Index, so if you draw one of those, you want to be able to get the Bowmaster off and be able to cycle into an out. I think that's what that is.
Yeah, or maybe a 1 ring.
Yeah, that too. There's a Stirrings. No whammies, no whammies. Big money. See a power plant. He's slow rolling us.
Probably not grabbing a power plant.
Oh, I think he showed 3
no.
lands.
They're all lands, though.
So that's a lot of lands.
But his whole hand is lands. That's
I
not
don't
what
think
he wanted
needs
to see.
more.
He should have found different cards with the Ancient Stirrings. Oh, wait, ho.
Oh,
That's not bad.
that's actually perfect too, because that gets around the not dead after all. Hold up. Okay. So now you exile the Grief and the Dothy. Wow, that was kind of that was perfect. That's what we
Absolutely
call the
perfect.
nuts. You do still get chunked off of the aura, so now we're at 3, but we have 2 blockers.
2 blockers in bolt range.
Yeah, Jesse's. Did you notice her in sideboarding? I don't know how many she kept in. I couldn't quite take a look.
I didn't quite see either. I think there was not a lot of sideboarding going on. I think it was like minus terminate for Blood Moon stuff. Yeah, She brought in Blood Moon and 2 Needles as the only board ends.
Got it. Now we got to get a library count. How many Ulamog hits can we tank? Because it's weird. Like if canister bricks and you can't really attack with the Ulamog, because then you're just dead on board, right? Block a 2/2, take 3. So and the blast zone's on 4, so that can't pop the Fable. Kind of a tricky spot. To see what canister can find. Big money? That's not big money. So yeah, canister just can't even attack this turn. Kind of wild. Well, actually, the Beseiju means you can, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you attack with Ulamog, Beseiju, Fable, block 2/2, go to 2. Okay, you can't attack this turn. Forgot about the Beseiju.
It would put yourself dead to Ragavan, but that's probably worth.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't quite see how
Wait,
many cards are
how
in
does
Jesse's library.
Not Dead After All works pretty well if with Besiju
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
on the saga here.
It's like broadcast confirmed that Jesse has 45 cards, so can theoretically take 2 hits. Now, I wonder if your canister, do you Beseiju now? It's a little bit worse against Not Dead after all, because then you're letting Jesse go to chapter 2 immediately, basically on her turn. Whereas if you wait until, yeah, but I guess you don't want Jesse to activate the Fable. So this is kind of a really tricky spot for canister.
I can tell you what I would do. I would fire off that channel and get destroyed by Not Dead After All and lose super hard. That would be my line.
Yeah, it's weird. Like we have full information on what Jesse has in hand, and it's like, I guess you have to weigh what's like how bad is it if Jesse gets to copy, a shaman token versus the potential of her having a Not Dead after all. And I think that's what Ken's just trying to figure out here. The
Yeah.
spot.
I mean, Orcish Bowmaster, like the Orcish Bowmasters would be rough too, right?
Yeah, especially because yeah, if you let Jesse have the Fable and then she draws Bowmasters, yeah, you're right. Play it then copy it. Oh, there's the Ragavan we talked about. So this is lethal, right? Copy 2/2 dash Ragavan, send everything. Block 2, take 3. We can't besiege you anything in response. Yeah. We know the deck list, so we know that, Jesse knows the cancer doesn't have any like warping whales or anything like that. It's like Jesse's gonna go ahead and take this one down.
Wow. Intense game.
Yeah. Crazy
The
match.
Ulamog hit, the Ulamog slow roll hit, making it look very close for a bit in there.
Yeah.